With Invincible Season 2 done and The Boys dropping their 4th season this summer, I thought it would be a dope idea to put the Guardians of the Globe, the greatest superhero team in Invincible, against none other than the Seven, the greatest super divas in fiction, and see how a fight between these two chaotic teams will end up. Before starting, there's a few things I like to address. For the Guardian side, I'm using the team we see in Season 2 when they fight the Sequids on the Martian spaceship. A team consisting of Black Samson, Adam Eve, Martian Man, Robot, Monster Girl, Bulletproof, and I'm switching Mark for Rexplode. As for the Seven, I'm using their roster from Season 2 of The Boys, which includes Homelander, Queen Maeve, Starlight, A-Train, The Deep, Stormfront, and Black Noir. And I'm adding Translucent to even up the odds to have an 8v8 superhero showdown. Now let's begin. When it comes to the Seven's strength, they are considered the strongest heroes on the planet, with all of them sharing the basic traits of super strength, speed, reflexes, and durability. The level of these traits do vary a lot even within the Seven, but even the physically weakest members, such as Starlight, the Deep and Translucent, are bulletproof for the most part, with only armor-piercing rounds and high-caliber bullets being able to pierce their skins. On the other hand, this is not the case for the top 4 of Homelander, Maeve, Noir, and Stormfront, who are all completely bulletproof, with the weakest of them being Noir, being capable of tanking an explosion caused by another soup that completely destroys an entire house, showing afterwards burns that he could easily heal within due time. When it comes to the big 3, they all scale to a feat we see a young Homelander perform, where he no-sells the explosion of a chemical plant, which would end up putting all 3 of their base durabilities in those city block levels of power. To further back this up, Maeve also has a feat similar to this where she tanks Soldier Boy's explosion in Season 3 while being badly hurt after battling Homelander. This would end up upscaling her and current Homelander, who is implied to be far stronger than his younger self, which in turn puts Maeve, who was capable of drawing blood from him, into those multi-city block levels of power, to possibly even higher based on Homelander's statements, with some of them saying that he is above every man-made weapon, which would include nukes, though these are a bit far out there as we've seen no feed that supports this idea, but for the sake of the video we will grant it to him. This in turn will give us a town to small city level Maeve, with Stormfront being on the same tier if not slightly below her, and Homelander being considered the strongest hero on the face of the earth would probably set him into those city levels to possibly mountain levels of power. When it comes to the Guardians of the Globe, aka the team everybody thinks is a joke because they're for the most part tend to be over their heads, I'm here to tell you all their strength is no joke, especially the heavy hitters, with Immortal being capable of battling and holding off momentarily a conflicted Omniman. During this fight, while Omniman was slightly nerfed due to him being conflicted, the Immortal was still capable of drawing blood from him. This is insanely impressive given this same Omniman moved and redirected a meteor the size of Texas, which has been calculated up to moon levels of energy, which is insane to even think about it. Now I'm not saying Immortal is moon level, as Viltrumites can become more durable when focused due to their smart items, but the fact that he drew blood from a being that can tank or reproduce moon levels of energy is an insane feat on its own. Another member with notable feats is none other than Rudy, aka Robot, who possesses armors capable of overpowering the Muller twins. This is impressive because the Muller twins are superpowered geniuses who in their own right can duke it out with people like Immortal and the old Guardians of the Globe. They are also people who can duke it out with a holding back Invincible, though being capable of overpowering them would put Robot's strongest armors on a tier of power just below heavy hitters of Invincible's level. Now in the realm of speed, when it comes to 7, the boys have some very controversial statements of A-Train being the fastest hero who can supposedly move up to 1000 miles an hour, which is roughly around Mach 1.3. Yet, you have Homelander moving much faster than that, being capable of dodging point-blank gunfire with ease, catching up to planes, casually breaking the sound barrier multiple times, as well as his best feat where he saves Billy Butcher from an explosion Butcher caused, which for him to be able to get Billy and himself out of the house before the explosion could even burn Butcher would mean that at least he had to be moving around 23.5 times the speed of sound, setting him soundly as the fastest in the series. aside from a super roided up A-Train, who while under an excess of V is apparently moving faster than Starlight's light beams, which based on an old calc from Comic Books vs. the World would put him at relativistic to even light speed levels of, well, speed. This is an insane feat. Unfortunately, it's very inconsistent with everything else shown in the show, like how previously, while being similarly dosed, A-Train could only move at Mach 1.1, so it's safer to say that Homelander is for now top dog, and with that, you can scale other characters like Maeve and Stormfront, as they are all relative in terms of fighting and reaction speed. Now onto the speed of the Guardians. Like the 7, they have weird speed scaling with statements like the Immortal only being around Mach 3 in terms of speed. Don't get me wrong, he's not on par with Omniman's in terms of speed, but the fact that he was able to keep up with him must mean he has a similar level of reaction and combat speed. And we know for a fact that Omniman and other Viltrumites hold themselves below light speed within atmosphere conditions to basically not end all life on Earth like he did on the Traxxon planet. That said, even a Season 1 Mark by accident managed to move at relativistic speeds when fighting Allen near the moon. This feat is important as we know Immortal is relative to an early Season 2 Mark, who is much stronger and faster than his Season 1 self. Other Guardians like Eve and Robot can block and evade lasers with ease, with Robot showcasing this while fighting other enemies, which puts the Guardians on a very high pedestal in terms of reaction and combat speed. Now in terms of hacks and abilities, I will only be listing the most useful ones, so no deep talking to whales cause fight would most likely happen far away from the ocean. So in the case of bots, best and craziest, you have Homelander's laser vision, which can cut clean through a plane as well as burn through other soups. Stormfront is capable of shooting lightning as projectiles, Starlight can blind and stagger others with her light/energy beams, and Translucent can turn, well, translucent, becoming almost invisible. As for the Guardians, this is where they take the decisive advantage. They already scale far above the 7 in terms of strength, with Immortal being able to fight a multi-continental to moon level Omni-Man, and Homelander and Maeve being around town to city at most. In the speed department it was a lot closer. If we took these statements literal, it would mean that Immortal and by proxy the other Guardians are 2 times faster than Homelander and the 7. But if we took the higher metas, like the super enhanced A-Train's feats, then they would still fall short to the Guardians casually blocking lasers and Immortal being relative to both Mark and a holding back Nolan. So, if the Guardians win in both categories, why do I keep going? Could there be any power that could give the 7 the victory? The answer is no. Not with Robot and Eve being there. Robot alone can bring various drone copies of himself to aid and assist his team in the battle. Now imagine it, an army of robots, each capable of shooting energy blasts that can slightly burn battle beasts, someone even stronger than Nolan. Hashtag comic spoilers. Rudy, aka Robot, is also by far the smartest man on the field. His incredible mind coupled with Immortal's experience would quickly give them the perfect plan to handle the chaos that is the 7, who by the way have zero teamwork due to their insane narcissistic tendencies. The Guardians would outmuscle and outthink the 7 in minutes, and the only things that might prove troublesome, like Homelander's lasers, Stormfront's lightning, can be countered by Robot's energy absorption, or Eve's shields and energy manipulation. Even Translucent can be easily detected by Robot, and if for some weird reason Eve is compromised, it will trigger her limit breaker state, a state in which she could simply atomize the 7 with rather ease. As with the limit breaker state, she in fact can affect organic molecules. She could rearrange them, taking away the powers of the 7, similar to how Soldier Boy's radiation does. So, in conclusion, while the Guardians may seem like a lackluster team, they are by no means weak. They are simply in over their heads most of the time, fighting beings that conquer entire planets for a living. The winners are the Guardians of the Globe. If you like this type of content, be sure to let me know down in the comment section. Please like and subscribe to the Fictional Matrix, and see you all on the next video on the Fictional Matrix. God bless you all.